interesting knowing where to start with this subject because it's such an unusual subject to talk about. It's such a beautiful subject to talk about, but it's just so unusual to be speaking about something that is so obvious and so natural to us, and yet isn't spoken about generally. So intimate to what we are, intimate to this moment, and yet it's not discussed or spoken about. And yet here we are speaking about it, attempting to speak about it. Speaking about that which doesn't have any language, speaking about that which doesn't have any qualities, that which isn't a thing, an object. So we can't point to it. We can't say, oh, it's over here or it's over there. Even saying it's here is actually a bit um like missing the mark. And yet this is the primary experience, the primary reality, this mystery, this not a thingness. And so what is normal or what is usual is for us to be totally consumed with thinking, the activity of thinking, the movements of thoughts. These ideas of past and future, these ideas of who I am, who the other is, where we are, what we are, what's happened to me, what's going to happen to me. And so, what non duality is describing and pointing out and questioning is that validity of who we think we are, this idea of who we are in time, this story of someone in time, this narration of someone moving in time. And that story of someone has felt to be real. It's felt to be who I am. I am someone independent. I am someone separate. I am the thinker of thoughts. I am the doer of action. And with that idea, with that belief in that idea, the identification with that idea comes with its suffering, a sense of contraction, a sense of time, and a longing to get home, a longing to find home in the future. If I do the right action, I will get home in the future. If I get the right career, the right partner, the right experience, the right amount of learning, I will then be happy, be home. And this endless loop begins of chasing, chasing, chasing. And so what non-duality is suggesting is that that isn't truth, that isn't who you are. That dream of someone looking for home is a dream. It isn't who you are. And that what's actually looking right now isn't that person, isn't that story of someone. What's living right now isn't that person. It's the dream happening. So the invitation, I suppose, is to wake up outside of that dream of time, outside of that dream of personhood. It's a pointing to that which has never been sleeping, that which is always just here, just awake. It's not owned by anyone. It's just simply here. That can seem quite a radical thing or quite a complicated thing, but it's the most simplest, naturalist thing there is. A mental activity. It's simply here. It's simply here. So you're welcome to ask any questions if you have any questions to ask.
Thanks, Kelly. I was listening. I started listening to one of your streams yesterday about meditation, and I got called away. And I heard you saying, how the values of meditation, but it felt like there was going to be a big but coming, as though you had sort of, a view about how meditation did or didn't relate to non-duality. And I just wondered whether you could say anything about your feelings about that.
Meditation.
Hmm. And its role. I mean, I kind of because the non-duality thing, simple, but the conditioning we have is, as you say, quite vast and thoroughgoing. So it's, we sort of, or I feel that, I need to sort of employ, if you like, tools to try and loosen, to maybe be here now or something like that. And meditation is something I use, but I just wondered what I missed from not listening to the rest of your.
Yeah. I'm not sure because I did the video years ago. I'm not sure what I said in that video. I can try and respond freshly now and
Please,
yeah.
yes, yes, thank you. Yes, sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so meditation, when I hear that word meditation, it feels like it's dropping into this. It's pointing to this stillness, this emptiness, this fullness as well, this beingness. So I have no issue with meditation in that respect. It's this. Meditation is this. Um, but normally when meditation is normally taken up, it's a practice. It's about doing something and it at some point leading somewhere. So some kind of idea of it being somewhere in the future. getting somewhere in the future. And that's fine as well. But what's being spoken about more non-duality is not in that realm of time, of past and future. So it's kind of missing the point. What meditation is to me is this. It's not to do with the mind, not to do with time. So if there's this idea that you are meditating and you are getting somewhere, then that's the illusion. That's not true. I mean, it's fine, but it's not true. It's part of that whole going round in a circle. It's part of that me on my journey. But I think it's a smart thing to do to sit and meditate in terms of, trying to not, be here and
Mm,
not be doing activity. So I have no issue with it as a practice.
mm.
But yeah, that's my
Yeah,
mm,
I hear what you're saying, Kelly. I think, like you say, there's so many traps, aren't there? With kind of there are so many traps, full stop.
yeah.
So many
Mhm.
false paths or, false ways of seeing. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, I won't call it a false path. It's just that the mind tends to
Mm,
hook onto
mm,
everything and try
yeah.
to take it into time.
Grasp and attachment. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Mm. And yet the kind of, that kind of, okay, yeah, yeah, absolutely being here now. How do I get there? It's a real, uh, yeah,
Yeah.
real dilemma, isn't it? Sort of simple, and yet, yeah, not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a dilemma at all. It's, as you
Yeah,
say,
yeah, it's not.
no, it's not. I'm going to shut up. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Nobody else is going to jump in. I just wanted to share that when I was listening to you talking, Kelly, I just felt this agitation. And it's relevant because this course that we're all learning to teach, it starts out with a kind of murder mystery, which is who killed us, our peace of mind. Because, and ask the question, why, when we sit with ourselves, do we feel this agitation? Just to sit with ourselves. But I was aware of this agitation in me and this feeling of coming up and saying, well, it can't be that simple.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really fighting against this idea that it's so simple. It and it was both funny and desperately sad. And and it just reminded me of the other day I was just going down a list of YouTube videos and one came up with a thumbnail that said, and these a picture of these two intellectuals, and they would, and the title says, whatever the names were, discuss the existence of God. And I just burst out laughing. It was so ridiculous, but it was difficult to explain why. Not that I'm a religious person, but it was kind of like, oh my God, how we contrive to keep this at such arm's length all the time, every single waking moment we keep it at arm's length. And I wonder if you can talk a bit about that terror of just not keeping it at arm's length and just letting it arrive or whatever, which I feel anyway. I don't know if anyone else feels that.
I feel it's the mind's terror, that the mind's fear. It's in the body as well, but it's this the mind feels it's in control. It isn't, but it feels as if it's in control in the driver's seat, and so any idea of losing that position as being the one in control, it does it terrifies it. It's well, then what do I do? Where do I, how can I manage that? How can I be involved in that? How can I? And so, yeah, there's a lot of fear comes up. A lot of fear.
Yeah, it's like, where's my place in this?
Mm,
Where do I belong?
yeah,
And the simple truth is you don't belong at all to this, do you? I mean, the mind doesn't, there's no place for me to be here to experience this. I can't be here and experience it. It's not possible. It's like oil and water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it threatens the construct of the personality, doesn't it? That whole thing, like Kelly was saying earlier, the kind of the trajectories and the kind of progress and achievement and all the stuff that we're supposed to value, or that is valued, in fact, not supposed to value, it is valued by society, isn't it? Um, that kind of willingness to let go, or fear of letting go, isn't it? What will I be, as you say, but I won't be anything.
Mm,
And that's, I suppose, the razor's edge for me. Mm,
yeah.
yeah.
It's such an addiction to be identified with that activity. A
Mm,
huge addiction.
mm. I guess it is the primary one, isn't it? And on top of that sort of, or from that, you have all the other kind of details, like
Yeah.
alcohol, drugs, whatever else it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, yeah. A way of relating, or not, well, not the way of relating, but yeah, yeah. It reminds me, Kelly, of when you're talking. I did have that thing like Ewan was saying about that sort of agitation. That because that if it's so simple, excuse me, why can't I be there or whatever? But that sort of the Chinese saying, apparently those who speak do not know, those who know do not speak. That was something from the Tao Te Ching, I think, which I remember years, decades ago. Thinking, oh right, yeah, that's impressive. And yeah, what does Wittgenstein say at the end of the Tractatus? Whereof, oh, I don't know, something about silence. Anyway, yeah, no, I can't remember that one. It's yeah, silence and stillness.
Anybody else want?
Kelly, I was really
Go ahead, sorry.
mesmerized by um, how you spoke and the pauses as you were speaking. And I really don't know anything about this. So it's all, you know, it's sort of counterintuitive to
Yeah.
me because of I guess because of my training as a teacher, like we're going somewhere, we're on a destination, we have a plan, there's only this much time, and we got to hurry up.
Mm,
Um, so very little time really given to contemplation or just trying to be here. And as you say, with meditation, um, the sense that it's about fixing ourselves because we're not okay already. The self that's I don't elusive, this whatever this is. Um, so I really don't know what I'm talking about right now, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm paying attention and I'm trying to figure it out. Um, and I like what you said about time. And I think, oh, the other piece I wanted to say was, I don't know if you know Jordan Peterson, but he's popular in Canada. And he has a whole program on self-authoring. So creating the self, not masking, but actually sort of uncovering who you are and cultivating who you would like to be. But it's always about where you are right now is not the right place. You need to be getting someplace else.
mm.
And I don't know what I think about all of that. Anyway, thanks for listening to my ramble.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I liked what you said initially, which was something like you didn't know anything about this. That seems so fresh and so yes, so like on the money. Like, this is totally not intellectual.
I I have some thoughts about the the notion of self. Um, what if I was to ask you, and I think probably it's not a valid question, how, how has your relationship with yourself changed? But it seems that you've dispensed with the notion of self, or do you have something that you can pinpoint that has changed for you, um, becoming attuned to or go, going to this place of non-duality? Is there something that you could identify that is uh, I, I'm wary of saying of falling into self-development language, but this notion of self, because we live in these bodies, we sort of, that's our only reference points really to everything. And I wondered how that living in your body has changed for you, um, going on this journey. Does that make sense? Not really.
Well, it doesn't feel like I'm living in the body. Um, I don't seem to have that like limited perspective or that limited reference point. Like I can't find a place where I am or where I'm not as well. So that has changed. So before it felt like I was living here, here, mostly here really in the head, but yeah, here. So I was limited here and the world was out here. Um, whereas now it doesn't feel like that. Want to say more? I wasn't sure if it's like your question, like what has changed.
I guess I'm trying to imagine what that might feel like. Um, uh,
The thing is,
the
you can't,
limits of your, yeah,
yeah,
the limits of your experience have expanded out somewhere way beyond this kind of like boundary that is the organism that is you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't really imagine that because that will be imagination. So it will be limited to imagination, an idea. But whereas if you could go down to the experience right now, beyond thinking, the thought I am here, the sense of being here, beyond that, can't really say where you are.
Yeah, that's fascinating, and it feels like a long way from my experience, but it's very intriguing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know, Kelly, if it would be relevant or useful, but do you have a memory of the Kelly that was contained in here, and what's the feeling towards that memory of that Kelly
What's
before?
the feeling towards it? Um, I don't know what feeling is towards it. It feels quite bizarre. Um, it feels bizarre that that whole experience was playing out here. It's playing out here. The idea of someone experiencing life, going through life, trying to do life. It was all playing out here. Total dream.
Yeah, I guess I'm asking because one can have the impression that people like yourselves have spent most of their lives meditating in a cave in the Himalayas or something like that, and not people who have had kind of quite traumatic upbringing and living an ordinary life, if you like. Um,
Mm.
so I guess that's why I'm asking, that people can understand that this isn't necessarily arrived at through some kind of huge process of uh, self-sacrifice or denial or whatever like that. That makes sense.
I think it's the shocking thing about it is you think it is going to happen character, to that character in the story, and this isn't about the character. That's the most shocking thing. It's not about you. Like it's yeah, that's quite shocking. All of that you was playing out here. I think this is known. This is so intimately known, but it's but it seems so big to the mind. It seems so wow, that's so radical, that's so amazing out there. But it's right here, it's known intimately. But the familiarity of that story playing is so strong. That attachment to that story is so strong. I am someone, I am a person, I am real. It's so strong. I'm not there yet. It's so strong.
And yet,
Can I,
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
um, is there a sense that you could describe how it's affected or changes in your emotional life, in your, um, for instance, your emotional life, but also even basic things like eating and sleeping and whether, but I think I'm probably mostly thinking about or sensations in your body, like your visceral physical life. Uh, are there changes there? Or,
Um, yeah, I would say um one of the big changes was that everything is more, I'd say stronger. Everything is more immediate and it's more stronger. Um, it's not going through the filter of the mind, so it's just immediate and it's strong. That like secondary position can make it like filtered the experience. Whereas if that's not there, it's just life happening full on. So the emotions are full on. It's yeah.
But your relationship with them is entirely different, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. But there isn't a relationship with them. They are what they are. They're taking it into time, into my story and what it means, and if it should be there and if it should not be there, and that part is not happening so much as before. So it's just what's ever happening, the emotion, the response, the behavior, it's just happening without the extra part I added on to it.
So is it that they arise and move through you and there's no judgment? Yeah.
Not so much that, it's just it's the direct experience, directly happening. Um Even judgment can happen, but it's not, it doesn't mean anything anymore. The judgment, it's just a judgment. It's not somebody owning that judgment and then this is how it's not taken to be like a personal thing added onto your story. It's just what it is.
So all these stories this storying that we do, it's a sort of fabric of um, how we make meaning, I guess.
Yeah.
What, how are you able to kind of identify how meaning has changed in your life?
So the intellect's still functioning, so there's still the ability to say this means this. Um, but it's like it's not, it just doesn't lead anywhere else. It's just in this moment. Like it's not taken into time. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
I think when the mind's identified with it's like this, it's obsessed with its timeline, it's obsessed with itself, essentially. It's obsessed with past and future. It's obsessed with its own ideas. It's obsessed with its projections. And so when that's not there anymore, it's just life happening. It's just, yeah, just direct experience. Like, like this is much more, like it has more, I don't know what the word is, but it's more like it's more real, it's more fresh than the mind, than time. Yeah.
But Kelly, thank you for your like words so far. It's been really interesting. So are you saying that for you, your experience or the experiences that happen, more to say, are more tangible? They're more they're more real in their essence than before.
This is more real
Yeah.
than any thought.
Mhm.
Any thoughts of before or thoughts of future. This is more real than any of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
So thoughts come and project past and future, but they're not, yeah, they're not as real as this, as what's happening.
okay.
It's what is.
So would you would you say that you're more now of an observer than 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 because I know you were saying about being outside of the physical self of a sort. So does that make you an observer of what's happening more than actually experiencing it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an observer. Um, but I wouldn't say I'm experiencing it either.
Yeah. See, I
Um,
think that's where I get really lost because like most of my life I've always felt like an observer
yeah.
and I'm still trying to work with mental health to try and unpick that and people tell me oh they'll just pathologize it and I'm like yeah but trying to live a whole life as an observer while also trying to understand non-duality and understanding energy experiencing itself through whatever form, may it be a rock or a tree, a plant, a bird, a human. There's this really hard crossover period, place where I can't really seem to find I'm either here or as an observer or trying to identify as I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything, and I'm nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
So I have that's a real challenge for me. And I think my my own experiences, best experiences, have been when I've been most disengaged from physical, like when I'm asleep or when I've had general anaesthetic or the fallout of general anaesthetic, because there's been a real detachment. But I know that does go on even when I'm conscious. When I look back and I consider what my actions were and that I've been seeing what's been happening. I've not actually felt that I've been present with it though. And that's where there's a real struggle for me with that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I couldn't follow all of it, but I could feel the struggle in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Excuse me.
One of the things I did to help myself was to do a daily mantra of I am and projecting that I'm more than just this. And I'm the trees, I'm the mountains, I'm streams, so that I can anchor myself outside of just the physical self, so that I can, um, yeah, it helps anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, what came up for me was it felt like you were trying to anchor yourself, trying to find where you were so you could rest. Um,
Of the sort, yeah. Although,
yeah.
um, when I experienced myself as nothing but particles, very, very briefly, a number of years ago, while I was conscious, that was probably the most natural I've ever felt.
Yeah.
That sense of being nothing but particle was made most sense to me. But that's difficult for most people to figure. And I think that the one thing I find is most problematic when I'm trying to kind of say to other people about it that are not got any knowledge in that, and they think that you're trying to take away their experiences, past, present, and future. So I think that can, and that's maybe my naivety in not being able to communicate it well enough, or maybe my understanding isn't great enough.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But what I felt was this trying to find where you are, find this place where you can rest. What it feels like is that hand that's grasping, trying to find it. At some point, that will stop and it will turn in and it will drop. What's being looked for isn't somewhere or some place. So it's trying to find somewhere, but it's not anywhere. So it can't find anywhere to drop. The dropping is here, the resting is here. And this is what seeking is. It's trying to grasp at something, trying to find home. But home is here. And so it isn't that this one finds home, it's just that this one drops and stops, and then home is revealed.
Mhm.
The resting is revealed. It's here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Mm.
But this one's convinced it can find it. It can find it. Just try harder. Just try this. Try this.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I think I'm no different to most other people. There needs to be some kind of driver to motivate you to get up in the morning or eat, or and I think hopefully, yeah,
That's not true.
okay.
We think we need to do that. We need to be driving everything to get up and do this and do that, achieve this. But it's
Yeah,
not true.
but I mean physically, metabolically, like
No,
the
it's
body.
not true. It's
Okay,
not true
right.
that
Okay.
someone needs to be doing that.
Not eating, not
I
drinking.
need to be doing that. No, it's not true.
Okay. I think that's where the challenge comes to uh, getting people that have not got any spiritual connections or understandings whatsoever. I think that's what the challenge for them would be to get over the fact that telling them that they don't need anything.
No, I wouldn't do that anyway. I wouldn't do that.
No, no, I'm not suggesting you would. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that I think that would be because
because
even for me, I know that my body seems to think it needs food. And I guess scientifically, I've been told that it needs food, needs substance to to work.
yeah, yeah.
So I would have to say, in my mindset at the moment, I would say I do need food.
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying that. I was saying the sense of that I need to get up. I need to feed myself. I need to this one who's claiming to be the one in charge of everything.
But well, just yeah, I guess it's there's no other term or phrase, is there?
Yeah, it's not just language though. It's more the intent behind it. It's so
Right.
deeply ingrained, this sense of
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm the one. This belief in this I thought, this I um
yeah. I mean, I don't know
leader.
any other term. So
Yeah, yeah.
how would you say? how would you phrase that then, like to somebody else about your, because you're the body that gives you the experience. I mean, again, I think a lot of people have been struggling for the language here, and I think that's what, you know, if we can get some terminology to replace what's been conditioned in, it can be really helpful for you, for your, yourself to be able to kind of communicate with yourself firstly before you're trying to say to others. So how would you say your body needs food for you to do things?
I'm not sure what you mean. How would I say what? Sorry, that I
Well,
need food.
yeah,
I would say I'm hungry. I would say I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I need the toilet. I'm tired.
okay,
Yeah, that's the way it's expressed.
okay,
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, Judy, it's more like you know how we don't have to think about breathing,
yeah, it's a
and
right, yeah,
but for some reason, you know, we think we're driving. Not the word use. There has to be a driver in the seat deciding to get up and to.
mm,
But that's all of that happens just like breathing.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
surplus.
right,
Our presence as a self guiding that is surplus to requirements.
right, yeah, of course, yeah, yeah,
If the self isn't there, that still all happens.
yeah,
Even the thoughts still happen.
yeah. I suppose, yeah, I guess what I'm really, I kind of saying in a way is that I just wish there was more of a kind of use of words that I knew about, that I could phrase it.
Oh,
Because if somebody says, why do, like just a simple thing like, why do you get up in the morning? Well, I can't invariably just, well, or maybe I can. You can tell me, Kelly, perhaps, like, just because. Is everything just because?
um, I think I think language isn't that important.
Okay,
I think you over. It's not important at all what language you use.
right, okay.
Feels to
I
me.
just have
Oh, sorry. I'll
I,
just to finish with Judea. What I sense is that you're asking, what does it all mean?
In a way, but I guess that there isn't really an explanation, which I kind of come to a understanding of that of a sort of my own. And I think going to part of the reason why my best experiences of when I've been most detached from the mind is because that gave me that real reasoning that there isn't any reasoning, there is no, it just is. And that, and thank you, Kelly, that's you, and you, and that makes sense that it just, everything, it just is, isn't it? Yeah. And the coming home, you're right, Kelly, that is largely what's missing from my perspective, not other people's, but my own. Yeah. Thank you.
I just had a thought about non non-human species and whether um there's any sense of any uh change in relationship, or do, does this feel closer in any way to how non-human species might experience being?
yeah, yeah.
I guess that's a bit of a closed question, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to present it in that way.
No, not at all. No, you recognize what you are, so therefore you know what everything else is. And there is no separation.
But
There's
that
no
isn't
true separation.
that isn't to say there's no mysteries anymore. It's all mysterious, isn't it? Would you say that? Is that a word you'd use? Mystery? It's like
Yeah. This is a mystery. But you know what you are without knowing what you are. You know you are what you are without knowing it. You don't know intellectually. You can't give a name or a label, but you know there's a deep knowing, there's a deep being of that, and that is everything.
is that saying, isn't it? That knowledge is limited, but knowing is infinite. I just wanted to come to Alice and Paul. There's no obligation, but just to give you some space to share how this is landing with you, and if you had any questions.
Yeah, I know I'm being very quiet this evening. It's fascinating to hear you speak, Kelly. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost too much to be able to ask any questions about it. um, yeah, I think yeah, it's a big tug of war going on in my mind listening to all of this about whether it doesn't sit easy. Doesn't sit easy because but I know I'm happiest when I'm nearer to what you're talking about. I know I'm happier there. But it's just the whole everything about what I've learned and what I'm a teacher as well, and everything about what motivates me. I don't know, it runs counter to it, even though I know that it probably contributes to most of my misery when I'm feeling it miserable. But yeah, yeah, it's hard not to imagine that everything I do is really quite significant. Um, to imagine, yeah, yeah,
I
it's
missed,
difficult to talk about. I don't know.
I missed the end bit of that. Hard to imagine what? Sorry, I missed the end of that sentence.
It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine that everything. It's hard to imagine that everything that I do is not significant. Is not highly significant. I have to believe that to let go of the narrative in my head of my import that my we're all gonna well yeah that we're not striving towards some goal. To let go of the idea that I'm not striving towards some sort of goal is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But if I stop striving, if in moments when I'm not striving towards a goal or marking myself against some version of myself that I want to be, when I'm not doing that, it's definitely when I am happiest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, it's not an easy place to stay in. That's not an easy place to stay in. Well, I just wonder why that is. why it's not easy to stay in a place where you're just happy with how things are, and instead of wanting them to be something else, they're not.
Mm. It feels
Yeah.
like, I don't know, first of all, but it feels like you can call it conditioning or genetics, karma, I don't know, mixture of all three, who knows? But all of that um creates narratives and emotions in the body. And this stuff that keeps calling you back to you story keeps being fired off or triggered. And there's a belief in that. There's a belief in that identity. That the thoughts are saying this and the feelings are saying this. There's a belief and a holding on to it, an interest in it. And it pulls the interest into it. That's what I would suggest is what's happening.
Yeah.
The conditioning, the voices that's been experienced, the parents' voice, the society's voice, the genetics, the conditioning, all of that, karmas, pulls that belief into that story. Makes timeline feel real. It makes the world out there feel real, and you are someone in it.
Yeah. Uh, the idea to divorce yourself from time is a step too outside of my reaching, but I have started to realize that my memories of my life and my experiences um, are fabricate. Are there's they're a story that my memories change depending on. So if my memories change, then they can't be, then they're not solid. They're not
Yeah,
solid, but they feel solid.
yeah,
But I have, the more as I guess you go through life and you look back and I can create different stories, and some of them can make me feel quite happy, and some of them can make me feel quite sad, which proves that
yeah,
they are stories.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then some future thoughts are exciting, and some of that dread and anxiety provoking. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
I suppose I just wanted to say thank you, and it actually gave me a very deep sense of peace.
you. Oh.
That idea that it's just here,
Yeah,
it's already here.
yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
So thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know. Do you feel that's the kind of natural place to end, Kelly, or anything else?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels about right.
Thank you so much. Um, Kelly has a YouTube channel, which I'll put it in the chat. It's called Wholeness Speaks Non-Duality. When do you do sessions on that?
Yeah, I do Thursday at 5 p.m. Yeah. And I do a Zoom every 2 weeks on Saturday at 12 o'clock.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
I hope you'll come back and see us again. Be lovely
Yeah,
to.
definitely. Yeah, sure.
It's been just, well, I don't know, delightful. Beyond words. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Bye.